With so many podcasts out there, shows can get lost in the shuffle. That's why we implore you to check out Too Many Captains. You can find us at amoviepodcast.com.
5 unique takes on Hollywood movies and culture. Find us on Twitter at It's a Film Podcast.
Check our intellectual deep dives into theatrical films. Find us on Instagram at Too Many Captains Productions.
Unique takes on soundtracks. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Too Many Captains Productions.
Find us at amoviepodcast.com on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. And now, here comes a new episode of Collateral Cinema.
I'm Beau Maddox.
I'm Robert Ortegon.
I'm Ashley Chancellor.
And this is Collateral Cinema. Welcome to Collateral Cinema, the only movie podcast that matters, where we focus on good movies, bad movies, and everything else in between in the world of cinema. We're podcasting straight from somewhere in South Texas, and yes, my friends, we are a 420-friendly podcast. So whatever you have, be it dabs, blunts, bongs, or joints, smoke it if you've got it. And also, we are celebrating the spooky season as well. Of course, you know, Halloween is coming up here very soon, and we did the Human Centipede on our previous episode with Juliet Miranda, our season premiere, might I add, right, Ash?
Yeah, actually, that was a lot of fun, and I'm really happy to be part of Collateral Cinema this spooky month because we've got a lot of just really fun movies to talk about, I think. You know, between the Monster Squad, as well as you mentioned our season premiere, The Human Centipede, and Halloween Ends as our Halloween special. I mean, I just think all around, it's a pretty fun playlist.
It really is, and I'm looking forward to so much this season, but especially this movie right here, which was picked by none other than Robert Ortegon, our good friend and longtime co-host. Yeah, he picked this movie, right, Robert?
Yes, I did.
You did, didn't you? So why did you pick this movie, Robert?
It was like one of the first movies I rented from Blockbuster, along with, you know, House, and, you know, the one with William Cat. I don't think Ash has seen it, but, yeah, I used to rent a lot of Child's Play movies, too, back then. Damn it.
Fuck yeah.
Like part 1 and 2 a lot, you know?
Yeah, this is one of those movies that kind of elicits that nostalgic, you know, going to the video store vibe. You know, it would have those elaborate 80s, you know, video covers and whatnot. That was always just like, you know, so awesome and everything. And I mean, this is a movie, though, that's a little more accessible than a lot of those other movies. You know, I mean, those would be like your Nightmares on Elm Street, your Friday the 13th, you know, movies like that, right?
Actually saw this movie before Goonies.
Oh, yeah?
But Goonies is always good, too. It's the greatest. We'll be talking about that, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is basically like the Goonies, but set in a black comedy horror genre. That's really what it amounts to, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately, yeah. This is something I wanted to touch upon whenever we did this. It's kind of part of a little bit of a subgenre that kind of came out of the 80s, like maybe close to like the mid 80s up to like the late 80s, early 90s, and that's the kids' team movies, you know? Movies where you would have a bunch of token, stereotypical character types get together, and they usually face a common foe or a common problem or whatnot, or they have like some type of adventure in store. Movies like this, going back to the 80s, I mean, you had, of course, the originator of this, I would argue, probably is actually Stephen King's It. That's pretty much the quintessential series and movie that actually, fits that that story type.
God damn it. I saw a meme of this exact genre somewhere, and I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was something like, it's a group of kids in an urban setting, like a small town setting, though. So I guess it's like a suburban setting. I don't remember the specific details of it, but
but I get you. I mean, just the fact that there is a meme about that out there just kind of proves my point,
Exactly.
I mean, there's lots of movies that kind of fit under this particular genre. Like, for instance, the aforementioned Goonies. That's one of them.
Goonies.
I would argue that Stand By Me, another Stephen King movie, is kind of sort of the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Very much so. I would say maybe Lost Boys kind of has that feel to it, maybe a little bit. It's like, man, I thought of some other examples earlier today.
But it's the boys,
It's usually the boys.
The boys.
Sometimes there's a token girl. Sometimes, not in this movie.
What am I, invisible?
Yeah, there's another kids team movie right there, the Buttercream Gang. That totally fits into the whole role, right? And I mean, I would say the Three Ninjas kind of has that vibe, except they were kind of going off of the whole the whole McCulkin Home Alone thing, right, Robert?
Oh, the trap set up in the house.
Yeah, but I mean more like ninjas and everything.
Yeah, that was awesome. They did all their own stunts to it.
They did, yeah. Those kids, that was crazy.
Classic.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember there was a Three Ninjas video game.
Oh yeah. I actually have that on my PlayStation Classic.
Yeah, no, I actually played that on a modded Xbox back in the day, as in original Xbox. My aunt and uncle, they had a modded original Xbox. And it had a bunch of just classic, retro games ranging from, NES to any of the generations up to original Xbox. And Three Ninjas was on there.
Hell yeah.
And it was fucking awesome, dude. I remember that, actually.
It's really a fun game. I mean, the tutorial takes up a good chunk of the first half of the game. Not really the half of the game, the first, like, maybe 15 to 20 minutes of the game, but other than that, it's a lot of fun. But this movie right here, The Monster Squad, fits that genre to a T. Like, you pretty much have all the character types. You have the cool kid that, should be too cool to be there, but his interest actually kind of aligns with the other kids.
The Robert of the group.
The Robert, right?
The Josh Brolin type, or in this case, what the fuck is his name? Rudy Halloran.
Rudy.
That's Sean Astin.
Yeah. That's a different Rudy. But this Rudy, he comes into the movie with a bang. Honestly, like, Fat Kid is getting harassed and bullied and everything. Which, by the way, we'll talk about him here in a second, because yes, his
ripped
name
his
is
comic book, bro.
Yeah, ripped his comic book.
That could have been an expensive comic book.
Fucked up his candy bar.
That could have been an expensive candy bar.
Could have been a very expensive candy bar, exactly. And Rudy just comes up, lights up a cigarette. Very 80s thing is kids smoking. A very 80s thing.
Right off his Converse.
This motherfucker is sitting in the Monster Club meeting, and he's actually spying on the girl with sister, binoculars, the sister of one of the boys.
The sister of one of the boys, the one that they end up thinking is a virgin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he just looks at that bully, who, by the way, isn't that what's his name's in the Wonder Years? Isn't that his older brother?
Oh yeah.
Isn't that supposed to be Fred Savage's older brother and everything?
Kevin Arnold.
Kevin Arnold. Yeah. He was in that movie, but
Wonder Years.
Yeah, he's the quintessential bully character, which is another archetype of these movies. I mean, you always have to have the bully.
The freaking punk, right?
Yeah, punk motherfucker. Fuck that kid, right? Fuck that fucking kid.
That's why he made it eat that candy bar, because he was the Fonz, dude.
He's the Fonz, man. Yeah, he totally has that archetype. He has the leather jacket. He rides up on a bicycle. He has his hair slicked back. Total Richard Grieco shit.
Definitely happy days, bro.
Happy days all the way, man. Like, just, hey.
Yeah, see?
That's pretty much Robert's entire fucking personality.
Hey, yo.
You know.
No. Your personality is more like Scott Hall.
Hey.
Hey, yo.
It's just John Stamos,
Kevin
and James
Nash.
Dean,
John Stamos and James Dean and Tommy
Ryan
Wiseau
Gosling.
and Ryan
And
Gosling
the Gosling.
and Richard Grieco all
And
into one.
And Grieco. With,
and don't forget Greg Sestero
with Antonio Banderas.
with Antonio Banderas, right? Stupid.
Gotta throw that in there.
As usual, this is quickly going off the rails.
No shit. No shit, it's going off the rails. Jesus Christ.
The boys are back again.
Yeah, no kidding. And the other the character type is, of course, the fat kid. Like in a lot of these movies, there's always a fat kid, and this one they lampshaded by just calling him literally Fat Kid.
They literally call him Fat Kid. His friends call him Fat Kid, and you know what's funny is he very clearly does not like being called Fat Kid. Does not support that. Does not tolerate that. And his friends fucking call him that.
Oh, his friends are fucking dicks, man. I mean, as a former fat kid myself, it's like, yeah, that tracks, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it ain't cool, kids. Don't bully people because of their weight. Don't be a dick.
He's the Eldon.
He's the Eldon. He's the Eldon, exactly.
He's the Eldon of this movie.
There you go. He's got
my
actual
God.
swagger, man.
He's got actual swagger. The fat kid's fucking dope. He's the only one that wields a fucking shotgun and pumps it towards the screen badassingly.
My name is Horace.
Horace.
It's like, and that's about as badass as somebody who's named Horace is going to get.
Big dick energy.
Big dick energy right there. Yeah, he just flops it out, just right on the fucking table in front of those bullies. Like, yeah, what do you think about that? Eat that chocolate bar. Why don't you? But yeah, I mean, he starts, like we said, he starts off a little, being bullied, kind of the weakling. But, over time, he really, grows as a character. He starts to kind of really kind of show less and less cowardice.
Oh, can we play the movie or no?
Yeah, let's play the movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. How could we not play the movie?
We've got to have it running in the background.
We've got to have it running in the background, yeah. Oh, shit. How could I forget? Yeah, hit it again. Hit it again. Yeah, everybody, this is the part of the show where we just go off the rails and we try to start the movie. we try to start the fucking movie.
A quarter way through the fucking podcast.
A quarter of the way, of course, because we're fucking dumbasses and jackasses and shit. Kids, don't do drugs. This is why you don't do drugs.
I think we were trailing off. That's what happened, right?
Yeah, we were trailing off and everything, But yeah, I mean, the fat kid, he eventually grows some balls. And speaking of balls, yeah, he's the one who utters that immortal line. The line that defined a generation. The line that turned boys into men.
Wolfman's got nards.
Wolfman's got nards. Which, by the way, the actor who plays that, who plays like the main kid, he not only did he like with some of our Instagram stuff, doesn't he have a documentary called Wolfman's Got Nards?
Yeah, exactly. And he actually, we posted I did a promo for this episode on Instagram. What's his name? I have it.
I know you sent it to our messages.
Yeah, Andre Gower, who plays, the main kid of this movie. Yeah, he's the director/producer of Wolfman's Got Nards, a documentary. So, yeah, that's actually pretty fucking cool.
That really is, man. Hell yeah. Thank you very much, sir. It's like we enjoy this movie and we enjoy your role in this movie. Isn't that right?
Yeah, so yeah, I tagged him in the image because he was I always do that with actors and images that we post, and and he fucking liked it, which was cool as shit. So the actor that plays Sean, and this movie was a fucking blast, man. It doesn't follow any sort of sensical storytelling, but that doesn't matter because it's fucking awesome. It's like a kid's movie, but at the same time, it just goes to insane levels of pushing that PG-13 rating at the time.
and going back to the characters really play the biggest role in that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we go from Fat Kid, it's like you go to Sean, who, of course, the aforementioned, Mr. Gowdy, or what his name was. Like, he's pretty much a very archetypal or stereotypical character in his own right. I mean, you always have to have kind of the everyman protag, right? Is he protagonist, Coon?
Definitely protagonist, Goon. Just, you know, you're white bread protagonist. You're
absolutely.
Yeah, you're definitely.
Yeah, he's part of an all-American family, which unfortunately seems to be on the verge of divorce. You know, that's intimated many times throughout the movie, but it's not really like, you know, it's not really like expounded upon. You just kind of see it in the background of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also he has a little sister who is absolutely adorable. Totally adorable in this entire movie. Every time I was just like, oh, why are they being so mean to her?
You know, it's like all you have to do is start the buttercreamettes.
Exactly. You got to bring the buttercreamettes into this, because once the buttercreamettes get on their case, you know, they'll never leave you alone. I mean, they're like a bad case of herpes. They just keep coming back and coming back and coming back.
Oh man.
Right, Robert?
There's no Widow Jenkins in this movie.
There is no Widow Jenkins in this movie. No, because the buttercreamettes took care of the Widow Jenkins in this movie.
Exactly. And she does not come back as a zombie.
No, there is a character that is an old person who is kind of a recluse in this movie. The old spooky German man, who, by the way,
he's based as fuck.
He's based as fuck. Like, you know, like I love that little bit of misdirection when they actually go and talk to him, where you think that he has them captive and he has his knife out and everything. And then he's like, I know what you want. It's like, you want some more pie. And he just gives them pie and Pepsi and shit. It's like, holy shit, why weren't y'all hanging out with this old man this whole time?
Because his house is creepy, right?
Yeah, I mean, it looks can be deceiving. And of course, you have that one moment that just kind of comes out of nowhere, where it turns out that he is a German Jew who survived the Holocaust. It's like
that just makes him more based.
It makes him totally based, exactly. And he becomes a huge part of the ending of the movie, you know, because and that's because Sean gets a book that is supposedly by Van Helsing's journal and everything.
Yeah, and this dude just he serves these kids pie. By the way, he's credited actually as Scary German Guy. That's what they call him in the movie, Scary German Guy. So there's Fat Kid and there's Scary German Guy. But he actually turns out to be the dopest dude ever. He strolls up on him and he's like, yeah, okay, where's the journal? And he serves them fucking pie, and he translates that shit for them. And so, you know, like, yeah, what a fucking Chad.
Yeah, he is totally the man of the hour there and everything. And also, you have the younger character, the character who inexplicably wears a Confederate cap, a Confederate soldier cap. Why is that happening? Robert, can you explain that?
No, I could not.
Why does that happen? Like, Robert, let's say that you're a kid in the 80s, you have a Confederate soldier cap. Do you wear it or no?
You know, remember when people were putting like badges on their clothes back then, like Michael Jackson?
Yeah.
I don't know, like medals and everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Like battle jackets and everything.
Yeah, dude, those jackets. Even Yngwie had a jacket too. I don't know.
That's punk shit, dude.
Yeah, is that like a fetish or no? Like not a fetish. What the hell am I saying?
No,
like
that's a fashion style.
A fashion. Dude. Is it like a trend? Like, I don't know. Like
that's just something from the 80s and that the metalheads and punks did.
They thought it was cool.
Was that an 80s thing? Because I don't know. It was fucking weird to me. As soon as it was pointed out, I was like, no, that's a Confederate hat.
That is 100% a Confederate hat.
Was that a thing?
Robert, would you wear the Confederate hat? You never answered the question.
Would I wear it?
Would you wear it if you're a kid in the 80s?
Probably not.
Probably not. Because I'm going to say this. My family inexplicably had a Union Civil War cap, a blue one, which was interesting. Yeah. So, I mean, that was actually pretty cool. But what other characters are there here? I think that's pretty much it. You know, you pretty much have that. And then you have, of course, the monsters themselves.
All the Universal monsters.
Yeah. Sure. Like, let's talk about the Dracula character here. Like, I mean, Robert, what do you think are the influences here? It kind of wears it on its sleeve a little bit, but...
Yeah, I was kind of expecting Christopher Lee, you know? I don't know.
Christopher Lee, yeah, right? He's like a discount Christopher Lee. If you ordered Christopher Lee from Wish.com.
Discount Christopher Lee shit. He's more like discount Peter Cushing shit.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. I think that's really where a lot of this comes from. I mean, a lot of people say that this is more like Universal monsters, and I get that. You have all the actual monsters, the creature of the Black Lagoon, the Wolfman, the mummy, all that shit. But honestly, to me, I kind of feel like this actually evokes more like Hammer horror from the UK than anything. And they did a lot with the character archetypes that the Universal monsters kind of set forth with like Frankenstein, especially with Dracula. That's where you have the Christopher Lee Dracula and Peter Cushing and all that. It's like, I mean, you have all the ladies of Hammer horror. It's like, it's a whole style and a whole mood of film. And a lot of the stuff involving the monsters here really evokes that image to me even more so than the classic Universal movies. You know, it's kind of coming from a very different type of history involving these types of characters.
Yeah, I agree. I like how they portray Dracula as just like the boss of them all. Like, so normally in as far as, you know, like cinema history goes, Dracula and you know, the werewolf or the Wolfman, the werewolves as an entity, whatever.
Yeah.
Are rivals, but no, here Dracula is he's just the Chad on top. And so, you know, I kind of want to see this Godzilla King of the Monsters style, like, take on that where you see Dracula just force the other monsters into submission.
That would be pretty awesome.
Make them his bitches.
Yeah, right. And just do it all out onslaught against Japan. Just everyone, Mothra, King Ghidorah, fucking hell yeah, fucking Gamera and everything. It's like shit, yeah, just everybody. But I mean, yeah, Dracula in this movie, I mean, he goes hard most of the time, honestly. He really does. Like, for instance, when he picks up the little sister, just straight up by the jaw, picks her up, looks her straight in the eyes and, like, says, "Give me the amulet, you bitch." It's like, holy shit, they just called the little girl a bitch, dude. What the fuck, dude?
Whoa.
Yeah, straight up. Like, this movie, like, really pushed that PG-13 rating, and they were like, yep, right here. Let's do it. We're given what, you know, it's like one F-bomb, right, that they get. And then, you know, it's just only so many of other profane words. And so they just push that envelope, you know, and that's kind of just what makes it 80s. And that's fucking awesome, man.
Yeah, you have to remember that at the time, that was a relatively new rating. You know, it was initially made specifically for Raiders of the Lost Ark, if I remember correctly, because that one, it didn't necessarily fit in what was traditionally called PG at the time, but it didn't really go into full on R rating. Although you know, Brad Jones, the cinema snob, would argue otherwise. He was like, no, that was a hard R movie all the way. Like most all those movies were hard R movies, especially if they were released right now.
Mm-hmm.
But this was when that was that new boundary that can be pushed. You know, and by establishing that also kind of pushed our ratings into how far they could be pushed, you know?
Right.
The boundaries, like, there. Like, I would argue that a huge reason why you started to see a lot more nudity in movies in the 80s and 90s was because of that. It was because of these types of pushes. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, this really is the most PG-13 80s movies ever. It's like 80s PG-13 all the way. Which is that specific flavor. You know,
fuck yeah.
It's you know, it's not too much of a kids movie, although there's obvious, you know, elements of that, but it's not so much an adult movie either.
Mm-hmm.
The adults can get into it, but I mean, maybe it was kind of like ahead of its time, and you know, kind of like how Shrek was in that respect.
Okay, yeah.
Maybe it was a little ahead of its time there.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, the other characters, the other monsters, I should say, they fit some interesting archetypes as well. Like for instance, you have the Wolfman. You know, Wolfman's got nards, of course, and he is actually his human form is actually shown. And Robert, he is actually kind of sympathetic at first, right?
Yeah, he's trying to warn like somebody.
He's trying to warn the cops, right?
The cops, and I don't know. They tell him to lock him up. And he grabs the officer's guns, and then he just starts popping shots off it.
But of course, that doesn't do anything for them, because this brings up that classic, cure for being a werewolf, which is that you have to shoot them with a silver bullet. That's the only way to kill them and to end the curse and everything.
Yeah.
But this movie also shows that is pretty absolute, because I mean, there's that scene where you have an exploding werewolf in midair, which is an awesome fucking scene. That shit is so fucking awesome.
Mid-air explosion werewolf.
Mid-air fucking exploding werewolf. And it's just as gory as you would think. You know, it's like, holy shit, this is like that decapitation at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark all over again.
Right.
You know? It's like, holy shit. Or no. That's that.
The effects right here, too.
No, that's not Raiders. That's Holy Grail. That's what that is. That
Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. No.
It's been a while since I've seen the
All
trilogy.
the monsters.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's like, excuse us. It's been a while since I've seen Last Crusade. That's what it was. Last Crusade. Sorry, everybody.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yeah. That's the Holy Grail one. You're right.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yeah, where the love interest is a Nazi.
Oh yeah, totally a Nazi.
Yeah,
So
and Sean Connery is involved.
Sean Connery.
My sword.
But yeah, and he actually pulls himself back together.
Yeah.
It's like just magically. It's like obviously blowing up a werewolf is not going to completely kill them.
Damn.
You know? I mean, I remember Robot Chicken had a little bit about that, where they were doing this role playing. You know, it was like Vampire Last Masquerade or something. And somebody was playing a werewolf role.
Uh-huh.
And then like this, somebody kept on like rolling and like trying to different ways of killing the werewolf. It was like chopping him up into little pits and then throwing them down, like pouring them down a drain and then draining it out into the ocean, but it still wouldn't kill him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it kind of has that effect here. This is like confirmed right there.
Right.
You know? And indeed, the only thing that takes care of him is a silver bullet, which by the way, you can see in the montage, you can see you can see Ricky making that shit, and that's fucking awesome. He's straight up making silver bullets in chemistry class.
Fuck yeah.
Like that's metal as fuck, right, Robert?
Oh yeah. Took his mother's sterling silver.
Yeah. And then we do have a mummy. The mummy is there's a local exhibit at a local museum and everything, and the mummy walks off, and there's that comedic scene where, you know, that one, the black cop, you know, he's like, he's the token black guy of the movie, by the way.
Fuck yeah.
And he's just like a 2,000-year-old man doesn't just get up and walk away. And like, you just see the mummy just walking, skulking forward and everything. And somehow that mummy ends up in that, the little kid with the Confederate cap. He ends up in his closet of all places. And then you have that bit with his dad and everything. So the mummy is very much exactly as you would think it is, you know. And there is also the creature from the Black Lagoon.
The creature from the Black Lagoon, or I think technically the Gillman.
The Gillman, yeah, that's what it's called. Robert, what do you think about the creature effects on this character? Like, I mean, did they really capture the original feel or what?
Oh, I do have that film too, man.
Yeah.
What's best about the original is like the shooting it from the underwater scene.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Capturing the creature. Dude, it is amazing just looking at it.
How do you think this creature holds up to that one?
It looks just like it.
Very much so, yeah. And it's just as terrifying as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that's the most notable about Creature from the Black Lagoon, is that to this day, the creature is fucking terrifying. Like, the moment he comes out of the water, it's just like, holy fuck, man. It's like, what is this thing? Where did it come from? And what does it want? But here, once again, he's under Dracula's spell somehow, you know?
Yeah, I think it's that cane, right?
It's the cane, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's the full-on source of it.
Or the amulet, the cane and the amulet. Or
Something like
he's controlling them somehow. He's getting them to do things, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
You know who to call when you have ghosts. But who do you call when you have monsters?
We're the Monster Squad. What's a squad? It's like Miami Vice, I think.
They're young and inexperienced.
Naughty virgin.
They're a bit disorganized.
Monsters are not real.
We don't know that, sir.
2,000-year-old dead guys do not get up and walk away by themselves.
But when strange things start happening in town...
There's a monster in my closet.
Ooh, look at that big, scary monster.
What's happening? Two ways to kill a werewolf. Silver bullet?
They're the only ones ready to do battle.
Something's out there that's killing people. And if it's monsters, nobody's gonna do a thing about it but us.
Soon the creatures of the night will bow.
Real monsters? Us? Midnight. In the world, remember? Maybe we can be like Mask Squad and Stitch, you know? 2 mask bombs.
We got 1035. Stitch back up. Hurry up.
Or Nature Squad. The book is right. Don't you see it's all true?
By midnight,
You guys!
they won't seem so young anymore. The Monster Squad.
Wolfman's gone mad.
And of course, we have quite possibly the best character out of this entire movie, Frankenstein's monster. Guys, what can we say about Frankenstein's monster here, man? Like,
At least they got that right, actually.
He's like the sloth of the group, right?
Exactly. He's the sloth of the group.
Yeah.
And
the characters actually make a point of that when they're testing Rudy. You know, they ask, one of the tests that the test questions that they propose to him is, what is it, Frankenstein or Frankenstein's monster?
Yeah, and he gets it right.
And he gets it right. He answers
Yeah.
Frankenstein's monster. So, yeah, I think I'm glad that the movie at least acknowledges that, which is cool for its time, and at least, especially.
Definitely, yeah. But I like the creature design on him as well. I mean, he totally evokes the original Frankenstein movie monster and everything. He totally has the look. He has the bolts. He doesn't have the green look, of course, but I mean, he doesn't need to. You know, it's like a good mixture of the monster from the original book and the monster from the original movie. It's a good mixture of the two, but. He also has the best personality out of all of them because, you know, even though he's a little wonky and everything because he's dead and he's an undead person or whatever, like he's the sloth of this movie and he's so lovable, you know?
You know, actually, he does remind me of the one from Young Frankenstein.
He does, yeah, from Young Frankenstein.
From Mel Brooks.
Yeah, hell yeah, that's a great movie, yeah. That's a great fucking movie.
Gene Wilder. Yeah.
I also love how they lift that one scene from the original Frankenstein movie, like almost verbatim, where the monster comes up on that little girl and then kind of makes friends with her and everything. They kind of lampshade that, but instead of something happening to her, of course, she makes friends with him, and then she ends up bringing the monster over to the Monster Squad and being like, "Hey guys, can I join the club now?" It's like I don't think they ever reiterated whether she joined the club or not, but, you know.
Well, Rudy acknowledges it.
Yeah, Rudy
I guess
does.
I'm in the fucking club now.
Yeah, right. I guess I'm in the club now. Right.
Or whatever he says.
Even though they didn't tell him that he was in, right?
Yeah, right.
So I get, you passed their quiz, their test.
He passed it, to be fair.
Yep.
He says something to that effect at the end of the movie, and it's another badass line. You know, it's a Robert Ortegon line.
It's a total Robert Ortegon line.
Oh, God.
Now, the story itself doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you really get down to it. I mean, I guess there's of course the amulet that, you know, Dracula wants, but I think that it brings up this portal or whatever, and
to limbo.
It's the portal to limbo.
Yeah, the portal to limbo.
And it's like, okay, so this thing is only usable once every 100 years, and okay, so what's the point? Like, what is he gonna do with it? It can only be used once every 100 years, and it can only be used. It can only be activated by the words of a virgin reading an incantation,
which for some reason they assume means to be a girl.
Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck is that? That's a very 80s thing right there, right? Like, my God.
I have expected one of the kids to be like the one like punk of the group who's like, yeah, except for me.
Oh,
I guess that rules me out. That's what he would. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
There's gonna be that one kid that says some shit like that, right?
Yeah. There's always gonna be the one dumbass kid, you know. But yeah, I mean, if Dracula's motivations are just so wonky to me, and then there's just how he actually gets control of all the monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like we said, it's that cane or whatever, but where does the power come from? Is it coming from the cane? Is it just natural powers that Dracula has? Robert, make me understand this.
I don't know, man. I have no idea. There's rubies in the eyes that control everything.
And it's like, I mean, what does this all really lead to? Like, what is his end game here?
Right.
You know? Like I mean, he already vanquished Van Helsing. Van Helsing is in limbo.
It'd be cool with Abbott and Costello, bro.
Oh, there you go. He's trying to take revenge on Abbott and Costello straight up. I can totally fucking believe that's all that this is.
I used to rent that one so much, too.
Oh, yeah. Abbott and Costello meets Dracula.
Yeah, meets the monsters.
Meets the monsters. Oh, man, he did Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, I think, even.
Yeah, all of them, right?
Yeah,
in one movie. That was cool.
That's classic shit, man. And it's hilarious that they kind of invoke that a little bit, you know. But I mean, going back to the plot, I mean, also you have how the Monster Squad itself works, you know. Like, I mean, I guess they just add members that easily or whatever. I mean, like what is the ultimate point of the Monster Squad? I mean, what is it really? Is it just a fan club? Do they exterminate monsters? What the fuck?
They're the Monster Squad. They're like the Ghostbusters.
They're the Ghostbusters, but the Ghostbusters are cool, though.
Yeah, they're kids. So,
they're kids. You know, oh, yeah.
They're like
they did that recently in Ghostbusters Afterlife, too. They had kids being the Ghostbusters this time, so I guess that came around full circle.
It's like the first supernatural other than Kolchak, Night Stalker.
Yeah, exactly.
Detectives, right?
Yeah. But yeah, Dracula has no real end game, like no real reason to control all the monsters that he does.
It's because he's the Chad, man. It's implied. We don't get to see it, but we know that this motherfucker has conquered the other monsters.
Yeah, but is that really that impressive in its own right?
This is how he gets Frankenstein's monster going.
Oh yeah, that's right. There's an actual scene where he actually brings Frankenstein's monster back to life with lightning, of course, attached to his bolts.
Like he's jumping on it like a car.
So are the bolts on the monster in the right place according to lore? It's in the neck, right? It's in the neck. That's where it's supposed to be.
Right there.
Yeah. So I guess that would be anatomically correct for him. Kind of, sort of.
Probably. I don't
know. But the actual climax of this movie, I mean, it's totally fucking great. Like it's preceded by a straight up 80s montage, the most 80s of all montages, man.
I love how they print out the business cards.
Yeah, they straight up do that. They go into like printing class and everything, and they print out business cards and everything.
That's important.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that's like the most important thing. It's like they've got to be official about this shit, you know?
Yeah, so that at the end they can tell the FBI, we're the Monster Squad.
Exactly. Oh yeah, they have to do that. They have to they have to identify themselves as the monster squad.
Sorry, the military.
Yeah, it's the military that shows up in the end. That we'll get to that here in a little bit, but man, it's like the way that they take everybody on in that town square is fucking awesome. Like, first off, you have Ricky. He actually kills the three sisters. Like, that was really cool. He was just like, I'm in the goddamn club, ain't I?
That's what he says.
Yeah, he says, I'm in the goddamn club, ain't I?
And he fucking kills him with a bow.
He does, with a bow and arrow with the stakes attached to the arrows.
Wood class, right? Wood shop.
yeah, he went to wood. Yeah, exactly. I showed him with wood shop making stakes and everything, which was fucking badass.
Pretty awesome. Pretty handy, right?
It really was.
Oh, it's the same mother from the Goonies, too. Right, Ash?
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the same mother from the Goonies, incidentally.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's interesting.
All around Goonies. And that's Sean Astin. Oh, sorry.
Sean Astin.
If only Sean Astin was in this movie.
Right.
That would have been amazing.
It's our time down here.
It's their time up there.
It's their time over there.
But yeah, once again, with near the ending of the movie, you have the scene where they of course they assume that his sister is the aforementioned version and everything, but
right.
Of course that doesn't work out, so they use the little girl, which is kind of weird aspersion to cast on a little 5 or 8 year old girl or whatever, a little 5-year-old or whatever. It's like,
well, and again, any of the boys there are virgins.
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck?
Like, when did we establish this weird rule that it had to be a girl?
I don't understand that either. It's very, what's the word here? It's, it's not very feminist, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of sexist, maybe.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah.
Somewhat.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie that hasn't aged well.
It's a product of its time.
It's a product of its time, but it's not the worst fucking movie.
No.
When it comes to that.
It's not the worst of its time by far.
Now, there is some dropping of some certain gay slurs near the beginning of the movie. To be fair, it's done by the bully, and he pays for it. But, he pays a consequence. But, yeah, expect to see that. Expect to see that and hear that in this movie. But, honestly, I'm glad that this movie really wears its 80s-ness just on its sleeve,
Yeah.
It's unabashedly 80s, kind of in a way where a future episode of ours, the movie Clueless, is so unabashedly 90s.
Right.
It's like 80s as fuck. And I just love where it goes here,
Yeah, we've done a lot of the unabashedly 90s movies. So I'm actually glad that we're doing this and the Goonies, getting more of that unabashedly 80s content. We're doing Spaceballs as well, so
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it's only fitting now that Stranger Things is starting to kind of get into its own little conclusion and everything, that which invariably was influenced by a movie like this, by movies like this and It and the Goonies and whatnot, like very much influenced. And also the It movies that we did not too long ago, like those are another example of that. The very first It Chapter 1. Like that was an example of that.
And see, even It had the fat kid who had, in the end, ultimately big dick energy.
Oh, god damn it.
Once again.
Man.
Once again, can't prove me wrong.
Yeah. Once again, that's another year that I'm reminded that Stephen King wrote that and does not fucking remember it. He does not. He's like, fuck if I know. I don't know where that came from. It's like, I have no fucking clue.
It made me money.
I think, honestly, I genuinely believe he was just on a cocaine-fueled bend.
And nobody told him no.
And nobody told him no.
Nobody
exactly.
fucking told him no there. It's fucking incredible.
An editor read that and okayed it. That's what really gets me. But yeah, see, exactly. The fat kid always has the big dick. The Eldon, the fat kid of this movie, Horace, yeah. You put some respect on his name, motherfucking Horace. His name is Horace. He is not fat kid. He is Horace.
He is Horace.
Fuck yeah.
Fucking yeah.
Eldon. Oh,
Eldon. Yeah.
Eldon Smalls. Sorry.
Yeah, but I mean, one of the saddest moments in the movie is when Frankenstein's monster is sucked up into the void, and Sean's little sister, oh, she's just so heartbroken. She's like, no, please don't leave me. No. It's like, I'm just like, no, don't leave.
Yeah,
like,
that is actually kind of sad.
It's very, very heartbreaking. And I'm just like, why? Why would you do this? Why?
Yeah, because the Frankenstein monster seems... He's a pretty chill dude, you know? And like now he's probably not got a great future with Dracula, sharing a dimension with him. Of limbo, apparently.
Oh, unequivocally. Yeah, that's just not going to be a fun 100 years or so.
No, you know what? Maybe Frankenstein is like, he's like the Hulk. He's actually going to fuck all of them up.
Oh.
He'll become the new boss.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he's just going to fucking wreck shop.
Free of his restraints against his former master. He does not give a fuck.
Not a single solitary fuck. I can see that happening. he basically turns Limbo into Waco Mundo and everything.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, straight up. He has his own espada.
Yes.
And everything.
So that's the actor from Everybody Loves Raymond, right?
That is, isn't it? Yeah, that is. What's his name? I forget his name. Damn it. But anyway, I think that we're getting to the point of the episode where we can start talking about final thoughts here. I think that we just need to go ahead and start with Robert because, this is
his movie.
This is your movie, Robert.
Yeah.
Yes, no. What are your final thoughts on the Monster Squad?
Monster Squad, I think, is a great double feature movie to watch alongside with the Goonies. I think I was watching it on AMC or something, but yeah, it's a good back-to-back feature.
And especially still fitting, like the October month aesthetic, right?
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. See, we're in Halloween already. I mean, it's actually right. But yeah, this is one of those childhood movies that I would rent from Blockbuster and couldn't get enough of it, really,
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the movie, this is very much a video store movie. You know, kind of like House, kind of like Evil Dead, kind of like, Meet the Feebles or Bad Taste or The Shining. Like this is one of those movies that you see it in the horror section when you were a kid with all the displays and everything, and you're just like, whoa, it's like that shit looks batshit, and this is very evocative of that era, like that particular time and place, that so many of us remember so fondly.
See, if no one gave a fuck in the 90s, then nobody gave a fuck in the 80s.
Absolutely not.
At least that's how I can kind of see it from outside of living in that era. But from what I've witnessed in the world of music, of cinema, of gaming even, it is truly an era that did not give a fuck.
Absolutely. It was pretty much like a Wild West at the time.
Rock and roll era, right?
And that was when the internet was just barely a gleam in DARPA's mind, a gleam in DARPA's eye or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Ash, what are your final thoughts on Monster Squad?
Oh, I mean, it is definitely a lot of fun. I think, like you said, Robert, and especially with picking this movie, it is a good companion piece to the Goonies, but also totally applicable to, the spooky season. I think it's a perfect kind of marriage of those two concepts, and I'm glad that we're talking about it because, just the archetypes that we see portrayed just unabashedly throughout the movie, and just, the sheer of it being a blast, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, unequivocally.
Right.
My final thoughts are that this movie is just a type of joy that I don't know if any other movie could ever really capture. I mean, it's like we were watching the Nostalgia Critic review on that, and also we watched the Hack the Movies review of it as well. And they really said that this movie was so odd because, it wasn't really marketed towards kids. It had elements of a kid's movie, but it also had elements of it as a straight up horror film and a straight up monster movie that and all that gore and swearing and everything that just made that really out of place. And, you know, couple in, you know, the whole mystique of the then new PG-13 rating. I mean, it gives this movie a very unique place in cinema. You know, it's just an era that we're just never going to really fucking feel again. You know, only other way that I would say that is, you know, it's kind of like what happened when, you know, the gaming ratings were initially introduced, you know?
Right.
There was that one little period where, you know, you had like MA-13, MA-13 plus, then you had like MA-18, and then you had like adults only. Like, it was a little complicated. They hadn't streamlined it. So there was that little weird gray area, you know? And
right.
And there were a lot of games that filled that gray area, and that's kind of the same way here. This is that gray area. You know, that's what this movie is. It's that gray area in time and in cinema where, you know, the perfect moments just collided to make this a unique thing. I mean, a big part of that, of course, is the Goonies, you know.
Right.
That's a huge part of that. And, of course, you know, you know, that was the progenitor of all of that. And, you know, this movie is also a celebration of monster movies in general. It's a celebration of the Universal movies. It's a celebration of Hammer horror, which I, of course, like I said earlier, I believe that this is more evocative of the Hammer horror style than anything. It kind of has more of that. I would even say that the Dracula is even played more like Peter Cushing or Christopher Lee than, say, Bela Lugosi or anything. Like, you have a little bit of Bela Lugosi there, but not entirely.
Yeah,
you know?
Jack Palance played Dracula too.
Yeah, Jack Palance. Yeah, he was a good Dracula as well. Yeah, he was.
I actually want to see that. I've only seen a trailer.
Yeah, but I mean, this movie, it's pure 80s, like even more so than anything else that came out at that time. It's a product of its time, and you just can't help but love it for it. Another example, non-horror, would probably be like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's another movie that's very unabashedly 80s, or maybe even like going back to horror like Sleepaway Camp, you know, with a lot of the fashion and everything. And also the fact that you can literally have a fucking pedophile character there just get murked.
Oh, back in my day, we called them baldies.
Oh my God! Oh, why even bring that up?
Like,
oh,
what the
Jesus.
fuck?
Jesus Christ.
The baldies.
Jesus Christ, man. But yeah, I mean, this is just pure Halloween influenced monster movie, kid team genre bliss. If you're able to watch this, like, you can find it on Paramount Plus, you can find it on, I believe it's on Tubi, it's on Pluto. Like, you could find it pretty easily. Like, yeah. I think you can even rent it on YouTube. So, and if you can find it on DVD or Blu-ray, I highly recommend doing that as well. So, yeah, keep an eye out for this movie and check it out. It's a holiday classic. It's especially something that just evokes Halloween like 100%.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, Robert, since you weren't here for our season premiere, we just want to ask you, like, what do you think of this season? Are you excited for this season and everything of the podcast?
Oh, yeah. We got a good list going, right? Can't wait to do Corvette Summer.
Yeah, that's actually going to be our season finale. And also we're doing the Need for Speed.
Need for Speed.
Fuck yeah, the Need for Speed is like... And Ash, aren't we going to do something gaming-wise as well?
Yes.
Need for Speed?
At some point on Collateral Gaming, we will do a Need for Speed. I would love to collaborate with you on that, Robert. You know, we can do. Yeah, because we've got quite a few episodes this season coming up that Beau's going to be on Collateral Gaming. So anytime you want to do Need for Speed,
yeah, dude, I have the first 3 games that ever came out on a PlayStation Classic right here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I think there's a new one coming out.
There's also a new one, really?
Think so.
Ooh, that could be really good.
Remember playing like Need for Speed Carvin and Rivals and
on a PlayStation 2 era?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I have one of the latest ones from like the movie where you can play as the car movie.
That's
car,
awesome.
sorry.
That is fucking awesome.
It is
dude.
pretty damn cool. Like,
Yeah.
same color and everything, same Shelby. It's like,
So yeah, that's going to be our car movies. Actually, 2 car movies this time. And next month we're going to be doing Rocky 2, which is something we've been meaning to get back to, is the Rocky franchise.
hey,
Yeah, and we're going to do
Adrian.
Adrian.
hey, Paulie.
Hey, Paulie. Yeah, but we're also going to do the Goonies.
Hell yeah.
We were originally going to do back-to-back with Monster Squad, but Shocked and Applaud, they wanted to be on that episode, and they can't record until after the 13th of November, so we're probably going to push that recording date forward a little bit. But
We got Halloween Ends.
And then, yeah, we got Halloween Ends. Yeah, that's going to be our official Halloween episode, and we're going to be doing that with the folks at Film Rage, the podcast and everything. And I'm excited about that. And I think that we were talking about maybe making our official Patreon commentary this month, Halloween 78. What do y'all think about that?
I think we should do that. Yeah, I think because we're going to watch it anyway, and then we're going to watch Halloween 2018, and then Halloween Kills.
Yeah,
just to kind of get ready.
Yeah, so we can stay on this new timeline and everything.
Yep,
So,
got to do it.
Might as well record a commentary while we're watching that.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. As for Collateral Gaming this month, we are doing Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 2 Remake. And so we'll also be collaborating with Collateral Cinema to talk about the Resident Evil movie franchise on a director's cut episode.
Yeah, I believe that we're going to do the original Resident Evil. We're going to talk about that, and then talk about the latest Resident Evil movie that came out recently.
Welcome to Raccoon
City.
Yeah, I think that would be a good combo, yeah.
And honestly, I'm going to get you to play Resident Evil Director's Cut as well, because, I mean, I know you played the remake, but you need to play the Director's Cut.
Yeah.
You need to play the OG shit. Right, Robert? I mean, I know that you played OG Resi, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, like Resident Evil 1, I mean, that's such good shit, right?
Old school, man.
What are your thoughts on the movies?
The original movie's pretty sick. I mean, the final chapter one's badass.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
I actually kind of unironically like the first movie.
Yeah, the first one, right?
I remember seeing that in the theaters when it first came out. So, yeah, that was actually a fun little movie moment for me. I also, incidentally, we're doing Silent Hill this season. I saw that first run as well.
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so, yeah, that was pretty cool.
We're going to do another collaboration for the Silent Hill episode as well. I think we're going to actually do something on the bonus round Silent Hill related. So,
yeah,
you know, that's to be determined. But
Confederate hat.
Confederate hat.
Yeah, we also recently started our season off with Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Remake. So, Collateral Gaming is actually we're kicking off our season as well,
and I'm
excited about it.
I was on those episodes as well.
Yeah, exactly. Beau's actually playing a little bit more of an active part this season as a recurring guest.
Yeah, a recurring guest host.
Exactly.
Especially when it comes to like any type of retro gaming. Like,
yeah,
I'd like to bring Dino Crisis to the podcast. Like, yeah, y'all need to check out Dino Crisis. Good stuff.
Hell yeah, yeah. I'm down for anything this season. I mean, we've got a lot of bonus round episodes to flesh out there, and I'm really excited about the future of Collateral Cinema this season as well. I mean, we hit over 10,000 downloads last season. We're quickly approaching 11,000. We have director Tom Six following us of The Human Centipede, which we recently reviewed, and we also have. We got a like from Andre Gower, the actor that played the protagonist coon of this movie, Sean.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So yeah, we're kind of rising up the ranks a little bit. And if you want to help us rise up in the ranks, give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcast app, like especially if it's like Apple Podcasts or Podchaser or Good Pods. Or anything like that. Anything that will help us climb the ranks of the podcasting charts and everything. Like every one of those helps out tremendously. And also check out our Patreon. We have $1 and $5 tiers to become a patron. And, you can get your name spoken on the podcast if you're a first-time a first-time patron and everything. And you can also get access to full-length feature film commentaries, such as
the Buttercream Gang.
The Buttercream Gang, The Room, Freddy Got Fingered, House of the Dead, Fire in the Sky, all kinds of interesting stuff. And we're going to try to actually add one Patreon commentary a month, and also maybe a director's cut commentary every now and again for free.
Right.
Out there. So, and like we said before, more than likely Halloween 1978 is going to be our next Patreon commentary. So look for that. Like, I know that a lot of people are really digging, you know, Halloween this time of year. You know, they're digging Michael Myers and everything. So
yeah, actually, it's gonna be cool because I've heard some good things about like Terrifier 2, and part of me is like, man, that would have been good to cover that in some way.
We need to cover Terrifier somewhere along the way.
I think so. I think that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Robert, you've heard of Terrifier, right? You know, Art the Clown?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you have. What do you think about that? You ever tried to watch it?
I've only seen trailers really, but
yeah,
I looked at a few of the Trick or Treat Studio masks.
Yeah, they have some pretty crazy Art the Clown masks.
Yeah, they're pretty legit. They look spot on.
Yeah, right on. But anyway, you can find Collateral Cinema and Collateral Gaming on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts. You can find us on Chill Lover Radio. You can find us on Podbean. You can find us on iHeartRadio. Check us out on YouTube. Follow us there and subscribe.
Yeah, recently finally updated all of our YouTube content. So YouTube is actually up to date, and I hope to actually keep that up to date for this season. You know, if it doesn't upload automatically from Podbean, then I'll just make sure that we get the episode uploaded.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's not hard to do.
No.
So yeah, we'll keep that up to date. We'll have more Patreon commentaries to do, more director's cut, you know, be a little bit more consistent with that. And I'm really excited, actually, man. It's going to be a fun season. This is truly the fun season.
This is the fun season of Collateral Cinema. And you can find Collateral Cinema on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. Check out our Facebook shitposting group. I believe we also have a Discord if you want to try to find us there. I believe that we have one, right?
Yeah, it's probably C Cinema Podcast or search up Collateral Cinema. You'll find it. Or Collateral Media Podcasts, actually.
Collateral Media Podcasts. Yeah, on Facebook, it's Collateral Media Podcasts. That's our shit posting group.
And on Discord, I think it's the same. Yeah, Collateral Media.
Collateral Media, exactly.
So yeah.
So yeah, join us and shit post about movies, about gaming, comic books, the MCU, DCEU, hell, even the Snyder Cut. Who cares?
Whatever.
Man. As long as you're not toxic assholes, I mean, you're welcome to do whatever.
Yeah, go out and do, you know, anything that's movie related, video game related, pop culture related, you know, television, anime, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, you know, definitely.
That's okay, because eventually at some point there's probably going to be a Collateral podcast to represent it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, that's our earnest hope, is to sort of branch out and cover more media, and I'm just excited to be talking about the current media that we have, you know, exploring the world of cinema, checking out classics like The Monster Squad.
Yeah, definitely.
Something I otherwise had not had a chance to see. So, you know, it's actually been, it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think this has been a fun Halloween month episode.
So far, it's been a fun Halloween.
Yeah.
Robert, anything else to add? You got anything you want to plug?
Nah.
No, you sure?
No, we'll just take it as it comes, right?
Take it as it comes? I guess so.
Just like Prison Rules.
Prison Rules this motherfucker. Well, anyway, I guess that's a good point to just jump off and go ahead and stop recording and start chilling out and everything. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a happy Halloween. Have a safe holiday season. Definitely check out the Monster Squad. Like, check out whatever type of horror movies you want. And Slavia Ukraini, and fuck SCOTUS. And also, just fuck Trump in general. Fuck it. Laters, everybody. Happy Halloween. Collateral Cinema is a Collateral Media podcast. All music and movie clips are owned by their respective creators and are used for educational purposes only. Please don't sue us. We're poor.